Tatsumi, a swordsman, travels to the capital in an effort to raise funds for his impoverished village. After being robbed by a blonde girl in a tavern, he is forced to sleep on the streets, but he is soon invited to stay at the manor of a wealthy girl named Aria. While waiting for Seo and Iyasu to arrive in the capital, Tatsumi learns about Night Raid, a notoriously nocturnal assassination group. Night Raid appears at the manor at dusk and murders Aria's guards and parents. During this time,
Wait a minute, lady. You just said you wanted to steal this girl's money.
Tatsumi defends Aria from Night Raid member Akame, only to be interrupted by the blonde girl from the tavern, Night Raid member Leone. Tatsumi is informed by Leone that Aria and her parents have tortured several villagers, including Seo and Iyasu.
She gave us something to eat. That girl tortured Sayo to death.
Tatsumi executes Aria without hesitation or mercy, with Seo already dead. Tatsumi is invited to join Night Raid against his will by Leone. Leone brings Tatsumi to the Night Raid hideout and introduces him to the other members, whom Tatsumi considers to be freaks. Night Raid leader Negenda persuades Tatsumi to join Night Raid, as their mission is to overthrow the Empire and replace it with a democratic government. Akame is tasked by Negenda to train Tatsumi, but Tatsumi ends up only cooking and fishing. Tatsumi is later tasked with eliminating Ogre, a corrupt Imperial police captain who frequently framed innocent people as criminals. Tatsumi encounters Ogre in the streets at night,
That was quick. He acted without fear.
where they draw swords against one another. When Ogre becomes haughty, Tatsumi kills him with a sword slash. Tatsumi reports back to the hideout while Akane performs a strip search to ensure he was not injured. As he has thus far survived, she accepts him as a member of Night Raid. Night Raid is dispatched by Negenda to eliminate 8 tribal assassins attempting to infiltrate the hideout. Tatsumi is assigned to train with Night Raid member Mine the following morning. Tatsumi becomes frustrated while wandering the streets because he and Mine have primarily shopped for clothing in the city. Later, they see Prime Minister Honest order the execution of a man who recognized Honest true nature as the tyrannical de facto ruler of the Empire. Later, Negenda sends Night Raid on a mission to kill Ayako, a distant blood relative of Empire Prime Minister Honest. Ayako is responsible for kidnapping women and murdering them through brutal abuse. Tatsumi watches as Mine uses her Imperial Arms pumpkin, a powerful rifle, to snipe Ayako at the mansion. Tatsumi also hears the tale of how Mine was mistreated as a child due to her half-foreign blood, and how she ran away to join the Revolutionary Arm in an effort to prevent others from experiencing the same discrimination and torture she did. The last of 5 bodyguards ambushes Tatsumi and Mine after escaping death at the hands of the other Night Raid members. Tatsumi restrains the bodyguard, allowing Mine to engage in sniping. Tatsumi is disappointed that Mine's shot grazed his hair.
Look at what that pumpkin thing did to my freaking hair!
The members of Night Raid discuss their next target, the notorious Zanku, a former executioner who became addicted to nightly beheadings. Negenda explains to Tatsumi the origin of the Imperial Arms, which are powerful relics that the members of Night Raid currently possess. The Imperial Arms are so lethal that if 2 wielders engage in combat, one will inevitably perish. Tatsumi and Akane pair up to find Zanku on the streets. Tatsumi is deceived by Seo's illusion and falls into a trap set by Zanku, who uses his Imperial Arms Spectator, a headpiece that grants precognition to predict every attack.
Yes, please feel free to beg.
Akane finds Tatsumi wounded, and she takes his place in the fight against Zanku. Zanku attempts to deceive Akane by imitating Kurome, Akame's younger sister. Akane swiftly destroys the illusion and then kills Zanku with her Imperial Arms Murasame, a poisonous bladed sword.
It's delightful.
Now that he is no longer driven insane by the voices of the executed victims, he rests in peace. Tatsumi is surprised that he will spend the day training with Night Raid member Shield. After Tatsumi learns how to swim in his armor, Shield explains her clumsiness by citing her inability to perform various chores. Shield discovered her assassination skills for the first time when she rescued her best friend by killing her best friend's ex-boyfriend. Later, when Tatsumi attempts to activate Zango's recovered spectator, the device rejects him. Night Raid's highest priority is to collect all known Imperial arms, which are all documented in a book. Tatsumi is disappointed to learn that no one is capable of resurrecting the dead. The following day, Tatsumi and Leon become separated while patrolling the marketplace. He is accompanied back to the marketplace by Suryu Ubiquitous of the Imperial Police, who possesses the Imperial Arms Hecaton Chair, a canine-like companion known as Koro. Suryu intends to kill every member of Night Raid for the death of her mentor, revealed to be Ogre, after she flees. Tatsumi and Leon infiltrate a temple in order to kill a group of drug smugglers who have incapacitated and drugged a large number of women. Leon employs her Imperial Arms Lionel, a belt endowed with feline-like abilities, to eliminate the gang. In the meantime, Mine and Shield are ambushed by Suryu, whose Koro has the ability to regenerate and grow in size. While Mine uses Pumpkin to attack Koro, Shield uses her enormous pair of scissors, Imperial Arms Extase, to cut off Suryu's arms. Despite the fact that it is revealed that Suryu was concealing firearms in her arms, Shield deflects the gunshot and removes the firearms. Koro goes insane, seizing Mine and nearly suffocating her. Suryu fires a shot from a gun concealed in her mouth at Shield. When Shield rescues Mine, Mine watches in shock as Koro rips Shield in half. Shield is able to use Extase to emit blinding light as her trump card, allowing Mine to escape while Shield is devoured by Koro and killed. As it begins to rain, Mine informs the other members of Night Raid of Shield's death, which causes them to experience shock. In exchange for a potential spouse, the Emperor of the Empire orders General Esdeath of the Empire to hunt down Night Raid. Tatsumi, assuming that Akame is calm and composed since Shield's death, is surprised to discover that she is utterly devastated, which motivates him to protect her and remain alive. Esdeath sends the Three Beasts, an elite group of Imperial Arms users, to eliminate Prime Minister Chowry and his daughter Spear, political opponents of Honest from the Northern Tribe. The Three Beasts then distributed flyers implicating Night Raid in the murders. Neigenda sends Tatsumi and Bulat, a member of Night Raid, aboard an enormous luxury liner. Tatsumi resists the sound of Niao's Imperial Arms scream flute, which weakens those who hear its melody. Tatsumi is then confronted by Deidara, who brandishes his Imperial Arms Belvark, a double-bladed axe. Bulat intervenes and kills Deidara with his Imperial Arms Incursio, a sealed white sword that transforms into a suit of armor. Bulat recognizes Liver as a former Imperial Police General. Liver employs his Imperial Arms Black Marine, a ring that controls all liquids, while Bulat is at a disadvantage because he is surrounded by water. Tatsumi is engaged in combat with Niao, who is extremely nimble on his feet. Liver unleashes a special attack that causes the Imperial armors of Bulat and Liver to degrade due to critical damage. After Bulat declines Liver's invitation to join Esdeath's army, he and Liver engage in a sword duel to the death. Bulat manages to mortally wound Liver, who passes away after revealing that he joined Esdeath out of admiration for her. Bulat realizes that Liver injected poison into his blood as a last resort and used his own blood to pierce through him. Bulat entrusts Incursio to Tatsumi, who successfully activates it and kills Niao as Niao uses Scream to bulk up his body. Soon after, Bullet succumbs to his wounds, and Tatsumi mourns sadly. Mine observes Tatsumi and Night Raid member Lubbock performing push-ups while Akame and Leon are literally on their backs. Negenda appoints Akame as interim leader prior to leaving to recruit new members. Esdeath brutally introduces herself as the leader of the Jaegers, whose mission is to hunt down the enemies of the Empire. As the Jaegers assemble, Lubbock invites Tatsumi and Leon to his library, where he explains that Negenda was disgusted by Esdeath's excessive cruelty to the Southwestern Tribal Army many years ago. Esdeath secretly sponsors a tournament to find her future spouse. Tatsumi enters the competition disguised as a blacksmith. Esdeath becomes enamored of Tatsumi's prowess after he defeats a big-headed opponent in the arena and wins the tournament. Tatsumi's prowess captivates Esdeath after he kills his opponent in the arena without as she approaches him. She fetters him and brings him into the palace. Akame, Leon, Mine, and Lubbock discuss whether or not they should rescue Tatsumi upon learning this information. Tatsumi is compelled to observe as Esdeath and the Jaegers raid and destroy a bandit stronghold. Tatsumi resists temptation as Esdeath attempts to seduce her in her bedroom and tries to convince her to join his side. Despite his argument that the Empire is corrupt, she slaps him and informs him that she will never change for him. The following day, Esdeath tasks Tatsumi and Wave with eliminating a group of tree beasts in the western portion of the mountains. Tatsumi uses Incursio to flee into a forest, but Wave pursues him with his Imperial Arms Grand Chariot, a sealed black sword that transforms into a suit of armor. Tatsumi encounters a Jackaleo after successfully escaping pursuers. Akame kills the Jackaleo, while Tatsumi and Akame are returned to the mountains by Lubbock. At the palace, Esdeath punishes Wave brick by brick for allowing Tatsumi to flee, but he is still intent on recapturing Tatsumi. Tatsumi informs Akame, Leon, Mine, and Lubbock about Esdeath, and the Jaegers in the library. Stylish and Team Stylish locate and assault the Night Raid hideout. Tatsumi struggles to defeat Kaku, who possesses Shield's Extase, but Mine intervenes and uses Pumpkin to destroy him. In the meantime, Akame engages in combat with Toby, whose mechanical body is armed with guns and swords. Lubbock forms his Imperial Arms Crosstail, a manipulable reel of strings, into a spear and stabs Toby in the chest. Truma attempts to attack Mine from behind, but Leon kills him with a single blow with a surprise attack. Tatsumi, Akame, Leon, Mine, and Lubbock are surrounded by Stylish's foot soldiers, who have all been injected with Stylish's paralyzing poison, with the exception of Tatsumi. Negenda dispatches Susanoo, who easily defeats the foot soldiers while riding an air manta. Soon thereafter, Stylish injects himself with a vial that transforms him into a danger beast, and he consumes Hana, Mi, and Mimi in order to grow stronger. Tatsumi, Akame, and Mine collaborate to kill Susanoo when he is unable to attack the body of Stylish within the danger beast. Tatsumi, Akame, Leon, Mine, and Lubbock meet Chelsea and Susanoo, the newest recruit for Negenda and a human Imperial Arms. Meanwhile, Esdeath consoles Suryu over Stylish's passing. In the forest, Tatsumi and Leon eliminate a horde of Margdons. Chelsea uses her Imperial Arms Gaia Foundation, a cosmetics box that allows her to assume any appearance, to transform into a cat and steal Mine's cake, resulting in Mine's ire. Later, Chelsea criticizes Night Raid for incompetence, citing the deaths of Shield and Bulat. Mine persuades Tatsumi and Lubbock to discipline Chelsea for what she said. Tatsumi is instructed by Lubbock to sneak up on Chelsea while she is bathing in the hot springs. Tatsumi was initially misled by Chelsea's use of the Gaia Foundation to assume the appearance of Susanoo. She reveals that she is the sole survivor of her former team, which was massacred in the past, which explains why she initially criticized Night Raid. Run informs Esdeath of a list of Tatsumi doppelgangers, but Esdeath insists that there is only one Tatsumi she loves. Like and subscribe. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.